Then there's the argument of, it looks like it'll be faithful to the original. The prospect that the makers don't understand the original isn't among my many concerns with this. I don't believe for a minute that Jon Favreau and his team don't respect the original, nor do I doubt that they understand and are familiar with it. Everyone and their grandmother has seen the original and can memorize it line by line and shot for shot. And see, that is what I'm most irritated by. I'm in the camp of people who are more fed up with the prospect of remakes existing only to capitalize on name recognition. But as cynical as this might sound, that doesn't prove to me that they really understand and care about their properties beyond profit purposes. It all sounds an awful lot to me like the equivalent of a parent who overindulges their child who is the most popular kid in school and just for the large number of accolades in his or her trophy case, while giving the cold shoulder to their other child and all his or her best efforts. If you want to convince me that Disney understands and cares about respecting their properties, I say try remaking films that aren't the most popular and actually deserve to be remade for a change. Like The Black Cauldron, where you could give a generous nod to the fans of the original who find the original to be an underrated movie, and you could give the audiences who hated the original an experience that they actually might enjoy this time around. And yes, I know that even though Disney's kept secret about it, a sort of Black Cauldron remake is in the works, as they have acquired the rights to adapt the Chronicles of Bright Dane books. And the fact that there's also the announcement that Disney might do a remake of Sword in the Stone, another one of their underappreciated properties, it also proves to me that they, to an extent, do have that prospect in mind. And that's one I can get behind. Heck, turning to a non-Disney example for a minute, while the rest of the world of the internet, for the most part, was raging over the announcement of Avatar The Last Airbender being remade like it was the worst thing that could ever happen since the Shyamalan movie, I remain cautiously optimistic and welcome the prospect. Since one of the reasons that the Shyamalan film was so despised, apart from all the other obvious reasons, was that fans considered it a wasted opportunity to expand the franchise's audience, and ultimately prompted Nickelodeon to sweep the franchise under the rug. Maybe Avatar does work best in live action, but I firmly believe that Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko did not agree to do it just because it'll make money. A live action edition might not be necessary, but it could be helpful in broadening the audience or the original series. Lion King, on the other hand, isn't exactly one that I think needs much broadening of its audience with a live action remake. Again, given how the original animated version is one of the few that frequently does get big screen re-releases. And the fact that the original made $987 million when it first came out. Of course, there are cases with films like Beauty and the Beast, which, when it wasn't following the same beats of the original animated movie, it was addressing common online complaints about the original, and bending over backwards to address said complaints only ended up being very significant in the long run. And there's also the prospect of that if the remake of Beauty and the Beast was advertised as Disney's most progressive movie ever. Now look, I know that meta-commentary and deconstruction of old tropes is basically Disney's shtick nowadays, and that isn't always a bad thing. It can be very healthy in some instances, in fact. But there gets to be a point where all that meta-commentary just turns to cynicism. And I know that Lion King wasn't perfect in everybody's eyes, so I don't want to sling mud at you for not being a fan of the original, unlike some people I know. So I'm not going to act like all the stuff I've grown up with is sacred holy ground, and anyone who dares mess with it is a heretic who needs to be burned, because I'm not one of those people who likes to turn my passions into walled gardens, because more often than not, they might not be as perfect as I believe that they are. But there gets to be a point where too much cynicism becomes alienating to the already existing fans of the original.